Hi there, this is Pranay Sharma, and in this video we are going to cover up matrix. Now a matrix is a collection of numbers arranged in a fixed number of rows and columns. A matrix is a two-dimensional vector or array. We produce a memory representation of a matrix in R with the matrix function. Matrix function uses 4 attributes. Now let's first look up matrix function here. So when we see a matrix function, we'll have different attributes. Now these are the main 4 attributes. First of all, we have to put in data. Now data usually goes in as an vector. Then we have to specify the number of rows, number of columns, and we have to specify by whether we are arranging them by rows or by columns. So first it should fill up the rows or whether it should fill up the columns first. Now when we studied vector in the previous video, we said it is a single dimensional array. We use it to store values so that we can use it in some other cases. Similarly, matrix is a two-dimensional array. So we are storing values in 2-dimensional. We'll have a fixed number of rows, fixed number of columns, and by that we are going to arrange our values. So our data comes in as a vector. First of all, we'll create a vector of, let's say, 6 values. So I'll make a sequence. I'll say A is equals to a sequence of 1:6. I'll press Ctrl Enter and you can see here we have a vector now of 6 values. Now we want to create it into a matrix. These are all in a straight line. So matrix, our matrix function is just matrix and bracket. Now first of all we have to specify the data. So our data is in A. I could have directly made this here. I could have written 1:6. That would have been okay. Or I can basically make a vector like I have made here and I can directly specify A. So this is my data. Now I have to specify the number of rows. You can see n row is equals to 1. So by default, if we do not specify the number of rows, it will take either 1 rows or it will count by how many columns we have written, how many rows we require. So among these number of rows and number of columns, we can only we can specify both, but we need only 1. So n rows or n row, not s. Okay. So n row will be equal to, let's say, first we'll make 3 rows. So if I have 3 rows, automatically my number of column becomes 2. So I may or may not specify that. If I specify something else like n column is equals to, let's say, 1, it will not take this as a matrix. If I press Ctrl Enter, I have only 3 values here. It did not take all 6 values into consideration of my A. If I want all 6 values into consideration, I need 2. Now the fourth one is by rows. By default, it is false. So by default it is false. That means it is going to first fill up the column and then it will fill up the rows. So if I do not specify that, I press Ctrl Enter, you can see the matrix. First it filled up the first column 1, 2, 3 and then it filled up the second column, that is 4, 5, 6. If I said by rows is true, I'll make another matrix. I'll say A, comma, my n rows. Number of rows is 3 and this time I will not specify the number of columns because by default it will take all values and it will fill up how many ever columns it requires. And I'll say by row is true. Now whenever we specify true or false, that is called as a logical statement, whether it is true or whether it is false. So either you will write it in full caps, that is TRUE, true, or you can just specify capital T, that is good enough. So capital T, capital F, that is good enough, or write full true or false in capital letters. If you keep everything in small, or just keep capital T and then RUE in small, that will not work. That will not be treated as our logical statement. So for true or false, either directly write capital T, capital F, or write all in caps, true or false. So here if I press Ctrl Enter, now you can see it has filled this matrix by row. You can see it went first row 1, 2, and then second row 3, 4, and then third row, that is 5, 6. So in this way we can make a matrix. Both of these matrix are different. Now usually matrix is used very similar to a vector, but usually matrix has two different dimensions. So let's say I am trying to measure in each day what is the temperature as well as how much rainfall did I receive. So I have two different things to measure and I have multiple days to measure. So that is why I have two columns and I have, let's say, 7 days or 5 days or 3 days in this particular case. So in this manner we can make matrix that has multiple rows and multiple columns, whereas our vector had only one single row. There were no we had multiple columns, but we had only one single row. Now if you want to extract an element from this matrix, it is very similar to what we did in vector, but a little bit different. First of all, I'll save both of these matrix in some objects. So I'll say mat1 is equals to this first matrix. I'll press Ctrl Enter so that it stores the value, and in the second I'll say mat2 is equals to this matrix. Ctrl Enter, my second matrix. Now if I want to find the first value of this matrix, it is not just 1. I'll say mat1, mat1 is my name of this object, and I'll have to put square brackets. But as in vector we only specified one value, here we have to specify two values, which row and which column. If I want the first value, I need to specify the first row and first column. And you can see here, while it was representing the matrix, it is clearly shown 1, nothing. So when we say 1, nothing, that means all of the first row. When we say 1, that means all of the first column. Similarly, if I just want one single value, that the first value, I'll say first row, first column. If I press Ctrl Enter, you can see I have one value, that is 1. Similarly, from the second matrix, if I want, let's say, second column and second row, or let's say second column and I want third row, so the last value. So rather than that, I'll say, let's say second column and first row, so the second value, that is 2. So I will have first row 1, 2, that is my column. Press Ctrl Enter and you can see I get the value 2. Whereas in the first one I had value 4 here, here I have 2. So I have 1, 2. And very similarly, if I want multiple values, first of all I'll make a very big matrix here. I'll say my matrix mat is equals to matrix of 12 values. I will say 1. I'll make it into a sequence of, I'll start with 0, and I'll say by is equals to 2. They are increasing by 2, and comma, I'll say length out is equals to 12. I have now 12 values. So 12 values, I can arrange them in 3 columns and 4 rows, or 4 columns and 3 rows. So I'll say n row is equals to 4. I want 4 rows and 3 columns, or I'll just say 3 rows and 4 columns. Does not really matter. And now arrangement, how do I want it to arrange? If I leave it like this, by rows will always be false. So that means it will arrange by columns. So let's say I want it to be arranged by columns. I'll press Ctrl Enter, and you can see I have a matrix here. MAT, it has numerical values. Now I did not write integer because 0 is not considered as an integer value. So that is why it said numerical value, and I have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on, and it shows that I have 1 to 3 values in the number of rows and 1 to 4 values in number of columns. So these are the dimensions of that particular matrix here in our global environment. If I enter this, you can see it here. This is our matrix. The other way of seeing it, if I double click on this data, our global environment MAT, it shows me here as a particular table. You can clearly see we have all values. What happens is, if I had thousands and thousands of values, here in console it will not show me all values. It will just say that these are the first thousands of whatever 10,000 values. But here when I'm looking it as a table, it will show me all the values. So this is basically a better way of looking at all your values. I'll close it and get back to our untitled value or untitled text editor. And here, if I want my third row and second column value, that is 10, I'll say I have mat my third row, comma, second column, Control Enter, I get 10. If I want multiple values, I can say, if I want the first row only, so I can say matrix MAT, and I will have 1 comma, and I will not specify any column. It will take all columns into consideration. I press Ctrl Enter, it gives me the first row. If I want only the third column, I'll say MAT, my square bracket again, nothing, comma, 3. So it knows that we want all rows and only the third column. And you can see we have 12, 14 and 16. Now if you observe here, even when we were looking at the column, it showed as a row vector, because now these are all in vector form. So even though it was before a matrix form, right now it is in a vector form, and vector form will always be shown as one-dimensional row. If I want to select a few values, I can make a vector into it. I'll say mat, and then I can say the value. Let's say number of rows, I want first and second row. I'll say 1, comma, 2, and then comma, column, I want third column. So I want third column of this first and second row. Control Enter, I get 12 and 14. Similarly, let's say I have first and second column and first and second row, and in column I want first and third column. 1, comma, 3. Press Control Enter. We get 0, 12, 2 and 14. Now in this case, it has represented it as matrix because it was easier to represent it as matrix here rather than before, because we did not have any unknown or null values of other parts, right? Here if I represent this matrix, the third column of the matrix, here it only represented it as a vector, but here clearly we have multiple rows and multiple columns that it can represent clearly in a matrix form, so it represented it in a matrix form. You can also do your normal operations in the matrix as we did in our vectors. You can add, subtract, multiply, divide any value to a matrix and it will do it to the all the values. So we'll take our first matrix MAT1 and I'll write it in our text editor, MAT1, and I will add 2 to all values. When I add 2 to all values, you can see now we have 3, 6, 4, 7 and 5, 8. So it has added 2 to all values. I can multiply. I'll take MAT1 again and I'll multiply 5, let's say. And you can clearly see we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So in this way we can do the same things that we did on our vector here in our matrix. Now if we have two matrices of the same dimension, same number of rows and same number of columns, we can add them together, we can subtract them together, we can multiply, we can divide to all of them, and it will do everything to the corresponding elements. Like we had MAT1 and MAT2, these are matrix of the same dimensions. No, these are not matrix of the same dimensions. Let me check. Were they? Yes, these are matrix of the same dimensions. You can see here rows, number of rows are 3 and number of columns are 2. So we can add and subtract, multiply, divide. Let's say I'll multiply them together. Say MAT1 into MAT2. I'll press Ctrl Enter and you will see it has multiplied each corresponding value. So the first value will be 1 into 1 because both of them had the same value. I'll just you can check here MAT1, MAT2, and this is our multiplication. So MAT1, 1 into 1, we got 1. In the first row and second column we had 4 and here we had 2. 4 into 2 we got 8. Here we had 2 into 3 we got 6. So clearly it had multiplied each of the corresponding values and it gave us a matrix of the same dimensions. So this way you can do operations on matrix or you can keep it as a data in itself. Now you can definitely store non-numerical values in matrix as well as we did it in vectors. So I'll end the matrix here because we usually do not use matrix a lot. We work with data. Now we'll talk about data in a future video.